This is what's fascinating to me about being at home with Marcus Ericsson of Andretti Global. You would think that we have to go somewhere on the other side of the globe, and we're right here nestled in the heart of a beautiful part of Indianapolis. And you grew up in Kumla, Sweden. So how is this home for you?
Yeah, it's funny how things turned out. You know, I've been in Indy now for 5 years, and came here, moved here without even having been to Indianapolis, and I actually liked it from the get-go. And over the years, I've really felt more and more at home. And then since last year, buying our first home and living here with in your house, it's just it definitely become home for me, and we love it. Me and Iris, my wife, we really enjoy it here. It's a great place to live.
What do you like about it? I mean, what's made it feel home? Avoids homesickness.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. Obviously, being an IndyCar driver, it's convenient to live in Indianapolis with the track and all the teams around here. But I think also what's made it feel as home for us is the community. Like there is obviously a lot of racing friends, but also like the people of Indianapolis has always been very nice to us, and it's just been a nice place to live. And also the way it's very central for us, when we're traveling, it's very good to, you want to go to the East Coast, you want to go down to Florida, you want to go even to the West Coast. It's very convenient to live here. So yeah, we really enjoy it.
So let's go back to growing up in Sweden and starting out in racing. There are a lot of drivers, Marcus Ericsson, that you look at their journey and somewhere along the way, dad hit the lottery or owned a company and bought paved their way through. You kind of did this the American way, the American dream, the old-fashioned way in Sweden. Take me through how Marcus Ericsson went from being a young kid in Sweden to a resident of Indianapolis.
Yeah, so starting off, I don't come from a racing family or racing background. My family was never involved in anything, and my dad is a house painter, has his own sort of shop running in Sweden, and started off with go-kart by accident, really. I just sort of was a rental kart place close to where I grew up, so kept bugging my dad I wanted to try, and I think eventually got tired of me, so he gave me a shot to try the go-karts, and I loved it from the get-go. And then we started to go around Sweden. I remember traveling around Sweden on the weekends with my dad's painting van. We would load, take out all the painting stuff and then just load in the go-kart in the back, and then travel around Sweden and racing. And that was sort of my childhood growing up. And then eventually, when I was like 15, I got picked up by Kenny Brack, who we know over here, and AEL, another famous racing driver from Sweden. They started like this talent program, and they picked me out from the go-kart ranks, and I'd won the Swedish championships and stuff like that by then. So that was sort of how my journey started, and I was very thankful to have Kenny and AE to sort of help me find sponsors and guide me through my career.
Kenny Brack, the '99 Indy 500 champion. Do you have recollection of the first time you were aware of the Indianapolis 500, or was it when you were in the Indianapolis 500?
No, I remember growing up, watching with my dad. I remember watching IndyCar racing growing up at like late Sunday nights with the time change. It was like, I remember sitting up at late nights watching Kenny race, and that's my first memory of the 500 when he won that. I was only 9 years old then, but I still have a memory of him winning this big race on the other side of the world. And, even from that early age, it was sort of in my head. And, it was always something throughout my career, even though I was on the European sort of Formula One ladder, I was always thinking about the 500. The 500 was always in my mind somewhere, and I always had a desire to go and give it a shot at some point in my career. So I think that started, like I said, already, back in '99.
So your dad's a painter. He paints houses. You create this tapestry of a life for yourself in racing, and you pick Indianapolis to build your home, right? What about, let's begin with this in terms of Indy and your house. What was important for you in terms of when you were designing and thinking about where you were going to live in Indy? What about your home makes it home for you? When you're not at the racetrack, you enjoy what about your house?
I think for me, one of the big things is that I wanted to have a quite big house with a lot of guest rooms so my family can come. My family is all living in Sweden still, and my wife's family is in Denmark. So it's far away, and I wanted to make it easy for them to come visit. So, for example, now for the month of May, I have my family, I have my brother and his family and his kids. They're all coming over for the month of May, and they're all staying in my house. So that for me was a big thing, to sort of be able to have family and friends come visit, and then also having like a outdoors area where people can hang out in the summer. So that was important to have a pool and like a nice outdoor area so we can, you know, have time outside and just hang out outside. So that was probably the two biggest things that I was looking for, me and my wife were looking for when we were searching for a house here.
So when your family comes to visit, or friends from Sweden, and they're like, Indianapolis, tell me about Indianapolis. And you say, let's go out and I'll show you around. I know you're obviously going to take them to the track, right? Where else around town? Restaurants, places, when you're walking around, what makes you feel, this is home. This is my Sweden in the United States?
Yeah, I think I'm a big foodie. You know, I like food. So there's a few spots I like to go to.
Restaurants.
So I like Monterey up in Carmel. I like Modita downtown on Mass Ave. It's one of my favorite spots. Convivio for Italians, really good. Diavola, if you want a good pizza, that one is really good. What else? Parachute for lunch. I go there way too often.
Now, what is Swedish cuisine? I only know the Swedish chef from the Muppets, right?
Yeah,
like, you've probably heard that a million times. But like meatballs?
Yeah, exactly. It's the IKEA meatballs. That's what we eat every day. No, but Swedish cuisine is not really. It's pretty like basic, you know, like we eat meat and potatoes, and like it's pretty basic food. But we have a lot of inspiration from the world. So I think in Sweden it's a bit of everything, but we don't really have like a specific way of eating in Sweden, I would say.
If we were to go back and find like 9-year-old Marcus Ericsson and say, when you're an adult, you're going to be married to a woman from another country and living in Indianapolis, Indiana, that all would have seemed almost inconceivable, wouldn't it?
For sure. I mean, it's I live a very different life to all my friends growing up. You know, like most of them are still living in my hometown in Sweden, and you know, working 9 to 5, and then you know, having the sort of normal family life in Sweden. And I live in the other side of the world, driving race cars for a living, and have a beautiful wife, and you know, it's definitely living my dream. There's no doubt about that. So I'm you know, I try to remind myself of that as much as I can.
I mean, it's pretty good to be Marcus Ericsson, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, for sure.
Winning Indy, you know, I think one of the coolest things, one of the first times we met, and I don't know if you would remember this, but we were on a travel day from hell coming back from a race, and we got delayed coming out of Texas and diverted, and they had to send an airplane for everybody from IndyCar, and we were all waiting forever. And you were brand new in the series, and I remember you were watching hockey the entire time. You're just sitting watching hockey, and it might have been even getting close to the cup. And I think the two most iconic trophies in sports are the Stanley Cup and the Borg Warner Trophy. And your name and your face is on one of them. That's got to be unbelievable.
It is, and I think that's one thing that's so cool with the 500 is the Borg Warner Trophy, and the fact that your face goes on it if you win, and it will always be on it. You know, that's what it makes it even more special for me. Like, and for me, I remember after winning it, the first time I think it really became real to me that I actually won the 500 was when I saw my face on the Borg Warner Trophy. So I think that's something that's so unique and so special it's pretty cool. And like you said, the Stanley Cup is another very famous trophy, and you know, I think they get their names on it. But yeah, this is like, get your face on the Borg Winner Trophy. That's pretty cool.
You get your own baby Borg.
You get that as well.
Yeah. Where do you display it?
I mean, I'm building in my basement. I'm gonna build like as kind of a trophy wall or whatever. So that's where I'm gonna display it. But now I just have it. I just have it in the house, just going and sort of see it every now and then.
I mean, I'd sleep with it. Like your wife's out of town, I'd have it right there like a stuffed animal. Right.
Good point. Maybe I should start with it.
Hockey itself, you are a hockey fan, right? I mean, I would imagine that's a rite of passage where you grow up. Do you have a team here?
I love hockey, and I'm actually going to the Fuel game tonight.
All right.
So yeah, I'm a big hockey fan. I do follow the NHL quite a bit.
But you go to fuel game. I mean, that's not an isolated thing. You are seen from time to time at fuel games.
Yeah, I try and go to a few games every year. So, I try and go out there. It's fun, I love the sport. I really enjoy hockey, and I know fuel is not, the NHL or whatever, but I still enjoy go and watch, and, there's still very skilled players even in the fuel, so it's a good time. I just love the game. And in the NHL, I follow the Bruins a bit because I have a very good friend in Hampus Lindholm who plays there as a defenseman. So yeah, I'm hoping they will be strong this year.
Did you play growing up?
I played. So I was, my childhood, like I said, I was doing go-karts in the summer, but in the winter I was always playing hockey. So it was like my two sports growing up was hockey and go-karts. And I used to be a goalie, so I was a goalkeeper. And I used to say that's why I became a racing driver, because I got shot in the head so much with the pucks. So then, you become a bit cuckoo, and then you end up driving race cars in 230 miles an hour.
Let's go through the last two Indy 500s where victory was in grasp for you. One of them you won. The next one, obviously Joseph Newgarden gets the pass on you. But when you won the Indy 500, you're going in, you're closing in to win the race, and the caution comes out, which freezes the track, and the victory basically then is yours. What goes through your mind?
For me, it was like an explosion of emotions. It was hard I remember just screaming my voice out, just not saying anything, just screaming, because I had so much like emotions inside my body that had to sort of come out somehow. And for me, it was sort of, all my life I've dedicated to this sport, to racing. And you put in all the sacrifices and all the work and hours and your whole life into it. And to win the 500, sort of, it's the ultimate sort of goal, right? Like it's what everyone dreams of, everyone works all their life to. And it's very, very, very few people that achieves it. So for me to do it was, it's just an incredible thing. And it's sort of whatever happens before or after doesn't matter as much, if you understand what I mean, right? Because you always will be a 500 champion.
So then when you're coming down to it and you already have an Indy 500, you've already won it, and you're battling with Joseph Newgarden, and you're trying to win your second, does any of that drive, even a 0.1% of it, go away for a split second because you think, I've been here, I've done this? And what's the emotion then when he passes you and you realize?
I think the problem with winning the 500 is that it's so amazing that you want to do it every time, like it almost gives you more hunger to win it again. So for me, last year coming back as a champion, I was more determined and focused than ever to try and win it again. So I think it almost did the opposite. I almost wanted it more to try and win again. So it was tough there in the end when I saw it slip away, when it was so close to be, back to back.
Everything that goes into it and the entire month that culminates for me, and I love the race. I love everything about it. My favorite day is the parade because everything's about to happen. It hadn't happened yet, right? But it's this great community celebration. And when you grow up in Indianapolis, Marcus, the 500 is who we are. Do you feel that? Can you see it when you go through the parade? And does living here help that?
For sure, 100%. For me, when I came here, like I said, I'd seen the 500 when I was a kid, and I'd seen it throughout the years on TV and sort of followed it. But I've never understood what the 500 really is until I came here and actually did it for the first time myself, because it's so much more than just a race. It's like you say, it's what Indianapolis is. It's so much. It means so much to so many people, and I think with the history, with all the preparations that's made, with all the things that's going on through the month of May, and then sort of it all comes down to that race. And I don't know, it's just so much more than a race, and that's why it's so special and so unique for me.
Now, which kind of milk do you go with?
I think whole milk. Whole milk, yeah.
It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. As long as it's milk, whatever it is,
whatever they give you?
I'm happy.
Do you enjoy when you're out and about in Indianapolis, if somebody comes up and stops you and says, "For Marcus Ericsson"? How often does it happen? And have you had a unique encounter with it?
It happens quite often, I would say. I would say it happens more often that you can see people recognize you, but they don't maybe come up. I feel like they don't want to sort of disturb you or whatever, but I love it. When people come up and want to have a chat about racing or the 500, that's just great. So, it's, yeah, I love that about it. And I think it happens obviously more around the month of May. I think people are more thinking about the race and all that. But yeah, I'm always happy to talk about racing and in the 500.
Okay, lastly, and this is the most important question. For people that are watching, that maybe go to the race because it's a civic event, but they don't follow it actively, sell yourself. Tell me why people that are looking for a rooting interest need to root for Marcus Ericsson.
Because I think for me, I worked all my life to get here. It's been a lot of hard work. I'm a hard worker. It's not going to be anyone that works harder than me to win that race. And yeah, I'm going to give it my all on race day. Always will do. So yeah, if you want to root for a hard worker and someone that's put the work in to get where he is, then you should root for me.
And a Hoosier, right? You're a Hoosier.
And an Indianapolis guy, yeah, exactly.
And is your dad still paint houses?
He still does, and he's gonna come here and help us paint some more rooms. So yeah, he's
didn't let your dad retire?
No, he still, he still has some rooms here to paint.
All right. Well, hey, how about you show us around the kitchen? I want to see where you like to spend your free time.
Yeah.
And then I want to see the baby board too.
All right.
Show it to us.
We can do that.
All right.
For sure.
So I can tell you're a married guy because you said you're a foodie, but and I don't mean that in the wrong way, but like everybody I know who's married, their wife loves and the important part is to set up this immaculate kitchen, right? Just like it's part of the home. It's part of the whole thing of a married couple. So take me through this because this is huge. This is bigger than where I live.
Like you said, it's my wife. She's a great cook and she loves spending time here. What is cool though is that we actually just renovated it. So it's like all the countertops and the backsplash and everything was different. So we just did it the same as the island. So it's
Did you
nice.
cook?
Very rare, I would say. But I can't. Like now, my wife is out of town, so then I have to sort of step up and do some cooking.
Wait, your wife's out of town. Where's the microwave?
Yeah, exactly. It's on there. We're good.
All right, okay.
That gets used plenty.
But this is honestly though, this is for both of you. This makes it home, right?
For sure. I mean, definitely.
And to entertain.
Exactly. We love just having people over and having a big kitchen and living area. It's just, it's important for us. And when we're looking for houses, that was important for us to have that. When we get, family come over, everyone can hang out and just spend time here, yeah.
Okay, now I noticed you have almost like a wine cellar here.
Yeah.
Can you show off some of the bottles?
We have some good bottles
That looks like trophies.
We have some good bottles there.
So let's take a look at it. So this wine, I guess I'll call it a wine cabinet, but this looks like a trophy case.
I know.
Are these trophies? What do we got here?
But it's funny because all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them has a bit of a story around it. So there is a few from Gateway. So there, every driver get a bottle of wine. So I have like 4 or 5 of those. There is a Pruitt wine there as well. Yeah, from the signed one there from Scott Pruitt. He has a winery, so we got one from him. There's a few like from Napa Valley where we've been wine tasting, and we always want to try and buy something and bring home.
So are these display wines or are they?
No, we drink. Yeah, for sure. We use it, but I wouldn't say we're huge wine drinkers. But it's not, and like I said, it's like an art piece as well.
But I just noticed something here.
What?
It is an art piece, and I'm not trying to get you to be a kiss up here. But you drive for Andretti Global.
Yeah.
There's Andretti Winery.
Yeah.
Where's the Andretti wine bottle?
It's still in the shipping. Yeah, exactly.
Is that part of the contract?
we need to sort it out for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so your favorite of these wines would be which?
I'll pick the Pruitt wine then.
Okay. Fair enough. So Scott Pruitt will be
happy with that. Yeah.
All right, I can appreciate that. Now,
good dude.
The Stanley Cup we talked about, and I think guys occasionally will drink out of the Stanley Cup. You can't drink out of the Baby Borg, but you do have it here. Can we see it by chance?
For sure.
Let's go see it. This just started, Marcus. I think that, a handful of years ago when Borg Warner decided to start presenting the winners with a Baby Borg, their own version of the Borg Warner Trophy. I mean, this thing's cool.
It's amazing, yeah.
How often do you just stare at it?
It does happen, yeah, from time to time when I have to sort of, if you're having a bad day, you know, going down and look at your baby Borg is a good way to cheer you up and get your day going. So it's definitely, it's got a special place in my heart for sure. And it's just like, you know, obviously having your face on the Borg Warner trophy is the most cool thing ever. But like to have your own baby Borg that you will always sort of have with you, it's it's very, very special.
Do you think about this, and this is like 50% like selfish, I guess, and 50% really surreal, but do you ever think about the fact that long after we're gone, that some little kid is going to be looking and seeing what Marcus Ericsson looked like and seeing your name long after we're no longer here? Like, that's a totally bizarre thought, isn't it?
It is, but it's so true. And I think that's what makes this race so special. That like, and it makes it so special if you're a 500 winner, because you're in that winner's club. You're going to have your face on that trophy in forever, you know? So yeah, it's definitely, it's a bit of a crazy thought, but yeah, it's definitely there.
Is there a fraternal feeling with yourself, Scott Dixon, Rossi, Newgarden now, you know, the guy, Pagano, the guys that you know that are your competitors but that have won the Indy 500, do you kind of feel almost a bond with them in a weird way?
In a way, yeah, because it's such a unique race, and I think it's a unique club to be in of the winners. So I think, you know, we are all, every one of us have won that race. It's sort of, you have appreciation to the other winners in a way, because you know what they've gone through and how much they have put in to get there, you know? So definitely it feels like you have a bit of a special bond to those guys.
Okay, lastly, critique for me the likeness. Were you happy with the likeness?
I like that it got my hair going, you know, like that's important for me, okay. You know? So I think, you know, you can see it's me. It's definitely, I think it did a good job with it. So I'm pretty happy with it, and especially the hair.
So here's the thing. The next time you got to have the hair going in the opposite direction so that you have variation. Right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
You just got to make sure. So you've got one. Now you just need a second, right?
Let's do it.
All right. So now that you all have the gold badge, I've tried my hardest to show you different areas, angles, and aspects of the Indianapolis 500. And now that includes, of course, inside the home of an Indy resident and 500 winner. Thanks so much to Marcus Ericsson of Andretti Global for showing us how he lives away from the racetrack. Thanks for watching The Gold Badge, presented by Chapman Heating and Cooling.